Thank you, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jay Sung. Today, if you're watching this rerun or this recording on the YouTube, that means that you're seeing the not live. There's a group chat off to the side, and welcome to today's dive class. These dive classes are a mixture of tutorials, and they're also a mixture of market recaps and what's going on with some of the maps for many of your cryptos. I want you to follow along if you can. If you have an iPad, it's always recommended. If you have a tablet, you can also use that too. The app we use is called TradingView, and it's going to look like this. And so in TradingView, you want to make sure you go off to the side on your settings and click the button that says logarithmic. So go ahead and do that, and that's basically all you need to really follow along and build some of these maps. At the very least, you can always take a screenshot of the maps and try to your best to recreate some of the lines and some of the angles, because even that's going to give you somewhat of an edge. Because when you start noticing price action through the lens of a map, then what happens is you have a lot less stress, because you're only looking for certain behaviors at certain times and at certain price points, certain angles. And so as prices hit those levels, you're watching for price to have a change of behavior. This works for every crypto and many stocks as well. It works with the stock market as well in Forex. The principles with price action is that price builds on itself, and it always reacts to itself. And the reason is because the price isn't just one thing. It's made up of buyers and sellers that were in the past. And so if you look at the past, you can predict the future. And the reason that works is because even though markets are not so, the future is not so predictable, human emotions are very predictable, and human emotions show up in the candlestick. So when you're looking at price action as it's behaving among itself, it starts forming patterns. It starts forming what I call flows. And on those flows, you can draw and see where price is having those changes of behavior. And you can use those behaviors to tell yourself if price is stronger or weaker, or strong becoming stronger, or strong and it's going to become exhausted, or we've hit our targets, or if there's money on the table, if there's a lot of consolidation in its future, if there's a lot of risk on the table. You can see a lot of things just by looking at price action through the lens of being able to draw. And anyone can draw on price action. Price is very telling. And so though this isn't a full course, and this is not my full course that I'm launching at the beginning of the year in 2022, this is some of the tutorials from some of the sword methods, and you're going to see many important points of what I call the sword cuts, which you often see in orange, which are a very core element to the sword method, which is a method that I use to predict price behavior. Okay, so with that said, yesterday's dive, we covered the big 30. We covered USDT.D, we covered Bitcoin, we covered XRP. You guys know, and just as a reminder, like just getting everybody up to speed, if you didn't see yesterday's video, remember, we are still expecting this movement up to 429 and up to here at 485 or 497, which is this sword cut here and this red line here. And the reason I'm really expecting that big up movement is because we have the positive structure that we needed on top of the sword cut. We should have had this type of arc underneath if we were going down on this market. If we went and arced up, we should have continued down. But we didn't. We actually arced up on top of this line. And so this is what we call, I believe it's called a dead cat bounce, some people refer it to as. This is a very interesting type of setup because you have plenty of days to respond. Each one of these candlesticks represents 1 day worth of time. If it's white, or your case it's probably green, that means it started at the bottom and ended at the top. If it's red, it started at the top and ended at the bottom. And then the price action is off to the side right here. So we can actually see the price as well as the dates. The dates are located on the bottom here, okay? So what we do look for is, what I'm telling you is that there is a very bullish price action on this chart. And the reason that's important is because when this chart goes up, your cryptos fall. And when this chart goes down, your cryptos rise. Now, this is not always the case, but this is the case for a lot of the manipulation. And so we're looking for the major movements, because when this chart has big pushes up, you're going to see Bitcoin fall on those days or fall. If it's weak, it's going to become weaker. If it's average, it can become weak. If it's strong, it can become delayed. And if it's very strong, it won't be affected at all. So we're looking for when this chart goes up. So you kind of are looking at, you need to know the cards that you're into playing. So some of you guys are trading great cryptos and you find good opportunities, and that's fantastic. But the one thing you have to just be aware of is that USDT.D still has some cards to be played. You're playing against the market. The market is your opponent. You have to outsmart the market. You have to think smarter than the market. You have to put on your thinking cap sometimes. You have to play like an investigator. You have to play like a true challenger, because you're playing against advanced computer algorithms that work for that are built in part of these huge trading syndicates. And they have, I mean, they go as far as spending billions of dollars to make underground wires just to give them an edge on the internet that is minuscule, but that minuscule movement can put their buy orders and entries before yours are even coming in. And so you always have the market and market players and playing against you. And so if you keep this in mind, you're going to challenge yourself to become a better trader. And part of becoming a better trader at whatever you're trading is learning how to read. Now, I could teach you how to read, and you can go back and read whatever books you want. I could teach you how to read a map, and that's going to give you a lot more clarity of when you're trading, because you can use whatever technical analysis you have, but by the simple virtue of you creating maps, you're going to learn, hey, this line is important. Hey, this line is important. Hey, this angle is important. Hey, we're seeing this type of behavior on the wrong side. Something's not right here. All of these alarm bells are going to go off, or sometimes it's opportunity bells, and you're going to see when you have when it's more safer to take investments or take trades. But with all of this said, everything you see in today's video is not financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything is just for entertainment, educational, and entertainment purposes only. I read crayons for breakfast, and so should you. And if you do, you're probably going to get a tummy ache like me. So trading and eating red crayons is all at your own risk. Okay, so but with that disclosure that I always have to give on YouTube, I'm letting you guys know the importance of learning price maps so that you can learn the price and proper behaviors, so you can know like these levels in advance. For example, on XRP, we knew that there was a sword cut here. We've had that level for a long time. I mean, you can have some of these levels months in advance. Okay, you can have some of these levels months in advance. And when you see price breaks these levels, even though you have months worth of data, when you see price break these levels, you know that those levels are very important. And this is what I call the sword cut, where price cuts through its normal trends in the more major, and especially on the higher time frames, such as the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. You're going to be able to see the points of pain. So when price had a breakout here, I told everybody, hey, we're going here. And you guys all knew that we were breaking out because I told everyone where to look for that breakout. And it just so happened to fall on December 19th for here. Once we broke out of here, I said, this is the sword cut up here. Remember to draw it, because that's basically where price needs to make a behavior change. At those levels, two things are going to happen. You're going to either have a break above, or you're going to have a break below. Oops. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain outside. It's so beautiful sound. You're going to have a break above, or you're going to have a break below. And what that looks like on price action is either price is going to come up to that level and come down like it did, but it can also break above and then you go up. If it breaks above, generally we like to have this natural pullback into the sword cut, because that's organic. And then we should be able to see it move up because it's building structure on here. If price doesn't build this structure underneath the sword cut, then that tells you it's actually bullish. If it breaks above this level, it's breaking above the pain that I just showed you. And so that's very, very critical. That's very important. These lines are hidden from most technical analysis that I know. I don't really know any that have these type of lines on them, but you can absolutely draw them yourselves. And you can see, hey, whoa, we're building a structure on top of these important levels, which I call the sword cuts. And if you see that type of thing, you know that you have clearance. You're basically more probable, more likely to go up to your next levels on whatever the map that you're trading on. So, knowing those kind of things. Now here also, when this trend line was broken, okay, all of this trend was broken, it crossed through here. That also created another sword cut. And price has two options. It can either come all the way down and hit this same red line, and I'll show you what that looks like. you can either have price come all the way down and bounce on that line, or it can make a nice reversal on this sword cut, which is highly likely. So knowing where these levels are in advance can start telling you what type of behavior you should be expecting, and at when and where you should be expecting. Because a lot of people, they don't have any clue of what behavior they should be looking for. You know, the markets need to have certain behavior, but only at certain times. If you have certain behavior at wrong times, you may be missing something. And so by examining price and teaching yourself how to look at price in a way that you've never seen price before, it's going to give you an edge on your own self, on the market, on whatever money you're trying to make or whatever investments you're trying to do. So with that said, I do want to open it up today to a lot of requests. We can take some more requests, and like we did yesterday, and we can do some more map builds that we haven't built before. I want to thank everybody for joining. Hello, Alice Rich. Hey, Bob. Hello, Mark. My friend Superfood, Mr. Vic, and Yuri Reza. We got to make sure there's a couple Yuris. And then we have April. Welcome, April. So I have if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you cannot see the chat. It's on the side of my screen here, but people are commenting in the group chat. So I haven't took any requests for today. So if you have some requests, go ahead and place them in right now. We can take a look at some of the cryptos that are important to you. Otherwise, we'll just go along with some of mine. Somebody raised their hand. Let's see. It's going to be Mark. Go ahead, Mark. Crow, pretty please, says Yuri. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mark, for your testimony. Thank you very much. And yes, it is a lot like art class. You know, you get good by practicing, and you get good by drawing. And sometimes, you know, there's a little skills to learn, but you're going to learn that. Now, just since you brought up Matic, let's take a look at Matic. There's something I want to point out and show you guys. So the principle, one of the principles you guys can always remember, the principle that really got me in my younger days when I was first learning, you know, to be more confident in technical analysis. I was trading Forex, and I traded about 11 years unsuccessfully in Forex. So I'm 37. I think I'm 37. I might be 38. I'm not sure. I think I'm 37. There comes an age when you forget. And so in my younger days, I thought, man, this analysis is really good. I'm doing really good with, I think it was a version of a type of analysis I was doing back then. A little bit of the sword method principles back then, and I thought, man, this is right. This setup is great. You know, this is a great setup. This is what I learned from some of my teachers at that time, and then I was like, the trade went just completely opposite way. It didn't just go wrong. It went completely the opposite. Like, I mean, it skyrocketed in the opposite direction. And I was like, what the heck did I miss? One of the things I didn't understand at that time was that the principles that you're looking at, your setups that you may have, even your maps, are only as good as the highest trade that is available. And what I mean by that is the principle of the bigger fish. Okay, a bigger fish, a little fishy is swimming in the pond, and he thinks he's the king of the pond until he runs into a bigger fish twice his size, and then he's a small fry, and then he can just get eaten or attacked or whatever, and it's almost like everything is forgotten. And so how this applies to trading is that when you're looking at market and you have a great technical analysis on like a daily chart. You examined it. You were like, yes, we are going up. Everything on all of my data, all my indicators, all of everything I learned tells me we're going up. But then you may have forgotten to look at the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, there's a trade, but there's an opportunity, and all of that data is actually telling you it's going in the down direction. What? Is that even possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Take a look at a 5-minute chart, and how often does price go up and down during a single day? But then look at a daily chart, and we just may be still going up. So in the same principle that you can look on a daily chart, you can look at a weekly chart. And when you look at a weekly chart, each candle is 1 week worth of time. This is a whole week. This is a whole 7 days. This is whole 7 days. This is a whole 7 days. This is a whole 7 days. Well, this one has 3 days left because it's the active candle. But when you start seeing that there may be a trade going against you, but all of you're so zoomed in that you forget to see somebody's in the background. Okay, that's how you can mess yourself up. So the reason it's so important to know this is because it's a reminder that you have to do your investigation also on a higher time frame. You also need to look at like a weekly chart. You need to look at a monthly chart, because there may sometimes be a trade in the opposite direction. Now, if everything is clear, then you don't really have much to worry about. But sometimes there absolutely is a trade on some of those smaller time frames. Now, looking at Matic, there's something to be aware of. Now, Matic has been I've been transitioning Matic to Sword 2.0, and in Sword 2.0, this one does has a little plus symbol. So I some of these lines are Sword 2.0 lines. Did somebody just raise their hand again? I think was that you. Was it you, Mark? Did you have another question? Okay. Oh, no problem. Okay. In Sword 2.0, I can tell you there is an angle here, and I haven't taught this type of analysis. A little bit advanced, but I will be teaching that in the Sword method class. I do have an angle right here, and it's interesting to note that we did have a push up, and now we're coming back on top of that line. So on the weekly chart, that could be a sign of bullishness to come in the next few weeks. So that's something to just be aware of. But on the daily chart, you can't see that type of bullishness, really. It just looks, I mean, you can see it a little bit. But here it is on the daily chart. On the daily chart, you connect this line right here and this line right here. These are the two tops for this line. And now we see a push up above. Yet we come back down. Price is not ready to go up, but now the line has been broken. Now these lines, the reason I drew them there and not at the very tops is because you can draw them in two locations. You can draw them at the core, which is at the body of the candle, the very, very body. Okay, look at how I'm drawing it right there on the top. Okay, that's before we went off the cliff in this area. Okay, this is the highest body we had without crossing through the other bodies. And it just so happens that this line goes up. And so when price came up the next time, it tried to go up and it pushed it all the way back down, even just for a single day. Now we went back to the daily chart. I'm sorry if you might have missed that. And then we finally pushed up, but we're just not ready to clear this line. It's still acknowledging this line, but right now, if we're in a bullish territory, when the line has been broken and you're just hovering below, that's what I call the discount. So the discount is generally when you get good prices on something and you don't really have to worry about being afraid of this trend line anymore holding you back. Because on the weekly chart, if price were to end right now, but there's 3 days, we're bullish. And if we're on the daily chart, we're not afraid. Okay? So there is some of these lines to think about. Now there's another line you can draw as well on these tops, which are the wicks, which is the very top here. This area right here, the very, very tip, is called a wick. If we were to take a line, right, and draw it right there, and draw it right here, you can also draw those wicks. Now we can draw by just taking a screenshot and taking a ruler. Okay, I'll take a look at this. Just say I drew this with a little yellow pen. Okay, now you can see We're just a little bit above, so this should be a little bit lower. But it's pretty close. I'm gonna try to do it one more time. You need 2 fingers if you're doing the iPad. There we go. All right. Now, if we're connecting those lines, you can see that price stopped here and went all the way down here for in the period of 2 days. Now, if you're trading on like a 5-minute chart, you'll say like, why did we go down? You have no idea, because there was actually a trade and resistance on a higher time frame that you just may not have been aware. And yet drawing, you could see why we went down for that day. We went all the way up and stopped right there, and then we went all the way back down. That's a huge difference for Matic. You went all the way from 278 all the way down to $2, and I'm going to say $2 and what is this right here? About 30 cents. No, $2.50. Sorry, around there. Somewhere a little bit, 245. Now that's a difference of about 40 cents. And that's just a simple principle. This is just how the principles work. So you know that these are the predominant trends, and there's something important to note. Once you start seeing price behaving regularly above these lines, then you start seeing price bouncing on these lines rather than rejecting those lines like this, then this is just the principles at work. You start seeing, if price is bouncing on the underside of these lines and it's looking like that, a normal person would look at it and say, oh, price is just at 250, no worries. But you would be saying, hey, I see negative behavior on resistance level. This is bullish, this is bearish, we're going down, or this is not right, this is not healthy. I wouldn't want to be looking to buy this right now with us rejecting off of these. You know, as we're rejecting off of these areas, okay, you're like, this is not correct. However, in the inverse, if you start seeing price bouncing on top of some of these supports, then you're like, wow, price is healthy. You know, I have more opportunities. And so that's how you can start using some of these to your advantage. This is how you can start using these principles to your advantage. Another quick example here, right on price itself, you see price moving up, then coming down, and then going up again and coming down. Once we had that, we're able to take these 2 areas here and here and draw those as a core. And then when you see price coming down to these levels, you'll see price somehow bounce out of nowhere. Why did we go up? And where did we go up to? Well, you knew that there was support here because you drew those biggest swings. You also knew there was a cut here as well. Now, we didn't draw that here, but it's a smaller cut. It's a more minor cut because this is not so far down. But when you start seeing that type of thing, you know that, hey, between here and here, there's a pretty safe lane. Okay? So these are ways that creating maps can just help you, give you guidance. So if you were saying, well, I'm going to buy here, where would you exit? Well, you knew where the roof was. You already had this section right here and this section. Oops. You saw those rejections and you connected those dots, and it starts giving you this pattern. So you trading based on price's own structure can give you an advantage no matter where you are. And so anyway, Matic right now, as a little bit of a recap, Matic is not afraid of this line. Matic is still in bullish territory. I'm still bullish Matic. I still have some Matic. Matic is based on 2 sword cuts that was based. And just so you remember, guys, if you haven't been paying attention to Matic, there is this resistance here, this resistance here. Price had the breakup here, went up and sat down on sword cut, which is this orange line right here, okay? See this orange line? Price sat on top of there, rounded off, and we were taking off from there. Okay, so this is on a weekly chart. You can see it more clearly on a daily chart with a Matic. Okay, same principle. I love this principle. You had this big move up and down, big move up and down. Take those tops. This time we're doing the wicks, okay? You see price broke above here. That was where the cut was created, okay? Then when we broke up, we came all the way back down, sat down on that sword cut and rounded off. You're ready to break up and go higher. But there was a resistance like I just showed you guys on the daily chart right now, okay? Another one, and we traded up to there, came down. I mean, look at this. You went right there, came down, and then we finally broke up, okay? because we were still bullish. Then we broke up and came down to the support again. Okay, but this time only just a little bit to a cut. But if you did the cut, there would be another cut right there. Just in case you guys are following along. Okay, right there. Came down to the cut, went up. Okay, now we came back down, sat down on the line, and then we're ready to go up to the next support resistance. But this time we broke above that resistance, closing, and now we're underneath. I think this is the discount. So I think Matic is a good prices right now. But be aware, just remember that there is the USDT playing against you, but it's, it could delay some of this action. So that's the only thing. If there was no manipulation, Matic would be even more fantastic. Now we've already done the current price of Matic is $2.53. I've already done the projections on Matic with other videos. The projection right now is $13.07. So $2.53 to 13. Fantastic money. It shouldn't be so difficult. I can't say what you guys should invest in everything, but I do have some Matic, okay? Because this is fantastic price structure. I really like it, and I really like these nice curves on top of sword cuts. This is good for bullish behavior. You're gonna see this all the time in coming to dive or seeing some of my posts. You're gonna see this nice card building structure at these areas right here, right? And then finally we go up, and then you can go up to projection levels. So watch for some of those, guys. With that said, let's go over. I got some requests. I got CRO, which is I know what CRO is. CRO is from crypto.com, right? That's their own internal currency that they have, and REEF. So first, let's look at. I want to look at REEF first because I already have some REEF on here, and I don't have CRO. So REEF, but I will build CRO. We'll build CRO from beginning. Hey Dean, welcome. Everyone can see. Remember, if you guys are just tuning in, you guys can see the group chat right off to the bottom. Hey Dean. Hey Jeff, welcome. Okay. Now, one of the things we pointed, I showed you guys on REEF. Let's see what the last time we updated REEF back in November. Look at this. Look at this. Back in November 5th. This is going to be awesome. This is a great example. All right. So this is the daily chart. And I had drawn for you guys a parabolic. No, I must have just not updated the date. We must have seen it. There's a parabolic here, okay? This is the natural flow. And I want you guys to draw it. To follow along with this particular type, what you can do, and I'm going to fade it out so you guys can see what I'm doing. 1 second. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your tool right here, which is your drawing tool. Click on that drawing tool, and it's going to give you all of these right here. Mine's is already saved in my favorites, but if yours not in your favorites, you can go to where it says geometric shapes right there. Scroll to the side, hold where it says curve. I want you to hold it down, add to your favorites. Okay, click it, click the star, and it'll show up in your favorites. Your favorites are always at the top. Mine's I have trend line, and then I have curve because I use these quite a bit. Once you have a curve, it's really easy. You just click anywhere, and it's going to give you this curve. And I usually like to make my parabolics yellow. Don't ask me why. Okay, and you can make it and put a smiley face. Now there's 3 control points. This side, point looks like a hot dog, and then this side right here, and then also the middle. The middle is where you control the like you move your stomach in and out, right? Okay, so that gives you your belly action. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to put it right about there, because this is what my eyes are naturally connecting the dots and seeing that there's a natural resistance at these areas. So I'm going to bring it somewhere here at the bottom, and you'll probably have to adjust this maybe 2 or 3 times, but basically I'm trying to move the middle to see if there's any general connection, and then you're trying to control the middle to move it around. You may have to move the bottom, of course, because that's the ultimate time where you're going to see this. And this is you're going to see why this is important in just a second. Okay, but we need to kind of connect the essence of price. So here, I believe this is correct. And the reason I believe it's correct is because I'm touching the cores. Okay, I'm going to show you where. Let me take a picture. I'm touching the core here. These wicks, this wick, that wick, the edge of this cliff, okay, which is a core. about this wick, these cores, okay, and you don't want to pass through the cores. You definitely don't. If you're drawing parabolics, don't pass through the cores. Try not to pass through the cores. There may be some that go against you, and that's a principle called hidden battler, which we talk about in the sword method course. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to find that there's a nice curve. Even if you have to just draw it with a pen or a pencil, you can draw it, take a picture of it, and try to, you know, draw, like, kind of sketch the image until you get that cut, until it looks nice and smooth. It should look smooth and natural, and generally the curve should be balanced. Sometimes there are exceptions, but generally the top half should be around the same as the bottom half. It shouldn't be like some wonky curve that looks like that. No, that's not correct. Okay? Or generally like that. That's not correct. It should look symmetrical, because you're trying to extend this out into the future if you needed to. Because we don't know if price is going to reject off this and then hit it again and reject. We don't know. We're now, but once you have that cut, you now know where you're expecting a change of behavior. We are expecting price to break above this cut, and it already did. Okay, it already did, and it broke above here. Once it broke above there, what's the first thing it did? It went back down to sit down on top of the line. Look at that. We went all the way back down and tried to test the line to see if it holds. And sure enough, we tapped it and went up. So there's now support at this curve. In addition, when we started going up, a new sword cut was created, and it was created at the highest level where the cut, where the parabolic went through price and where it exited price. And when I draw that, I draw those as orange, okay? And I usually take my highlighter tool, which I'm going to, and we basically fill in. Let me put my orange, okay? We usually fill in this whole section because, again, this is where your curve is crossing through the candle or the wick or whatever it's crossing through. That's what you draw. In my example, mine's is crossing through about right here, so that means the sword cut is about that wide, and I just draw that out. You could color it in if you wanted to, but basically you draw that line out into the future because this is telling you where the resistance and where the support is. Now with sword cuts, give yourself a little bit of a margin of room for error, but generally that's all there really is to it. Okay, now that I've drawn this in, I can see there's a sword cut here. So when price starts coming back down organically, like I was just teaching you, and this is a perfect example, guys. This is a perfect example. Okay, I didn't look at this beforehand. What is this crypto? REEF. Okay, this is REEF. Okay, I didn't plan this. I don't have to plan this. Markets, they'll confirm this type of analysis. It's always confirmed because it's its own price. It's its own action. You can confirm it, and if you don't get that action, you look for a different behavior. But check this out. You see price coming down naturally, organically, and stopping right here. Is it a coincidence that you stopped here? Is it a coincidence that you tried to go down and you couldn't come back? Is it a coincidence we're building and we're slowly starting around here, guys? Is it? No, it's absolutely not. This is the principles of how a cut of sword cuts and the sword method works. Okay? I would now, if you see this rounding off, we would be looking for price to go up. And if it goes up, where would it go up to? Well, I have a cut here in my map, so that may be a resistance level. And right now, this is at $2 and around 23.50, so it's going to be around 24. I'm sorry, not $2, right? 0.023, just say 9. I hear anybody got a question? Hey, Dean, you have a question? Is he unmuted? No? Okay, I'm going to mute you, Dean. 1 second, sir. All right. If you need to be unmuted, just go ahead and unmute yourself or ask yourself. So on now looking at REEF on a daily chart, this is something I see, and this is something that you guys will know. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to draw on price itself, no longer just pen and paper, but actually draw. And usually I use the rectangle tool, which can be found in geometric shapes, just like I did in the earlier tutorial. Make sure you make sure you add it to your favorites. So now going back to where that cut is at, you just draw the rectangle, right? You can make it any shape, any size, any length, whatever, okay? But I'm making the length, okay? I'm clicking right here, and I'm making the length where the cut went through, and basically where it exited, okay? And then what you do with that is you have the general sword cut range. Now my drawing was actually a little bit better than this parabolic, but it is a little, you have some margin of error with parabolics. You want to make sure your parabolic is basically smooth. You're going to have some margin of error. You're looking for the general area with that, okay? So this should be just a little bit lower, to be honest. But you know it's somewhere about, yeah, about right there. You know it's somewhere around here, okay? Now what you can do is you can extend it out. If it's more powerful, you can bring up the opacity or lower the opacity up and down right here, okay? And so as sometimes I'll lower the opacity as I know they're getting weaker. Okay, so we don't know, no. So now we are expecting one of two behaviors at this area. If you start seeing price rounding up in this area, as a recap, what does that mean? That means that you're going to the next levels on your map. In this case, it's up here, okay? After we get up there, we're looking for another change of behavior. We're looking to get above. If you go above, then you're able to clear to your next targets, which may be a lot higher. If we break below the sword cut and you have this, you know, I draw this pattern all the time. If you have a rounding and you come up again and challenge the sword cut, generally you're going down to the next levels. And that means that price could bounce here at the previous cut, which is here. And we've drawn that a while back as well. And we've already bounced on that area twice. And there's also another bounce area here, which is a sword cut. And you could bounce at those levels or you could reject at them. But generally, you're going to have only one of those two behaviors. And now you know that once you're in this lane, you're basically clear. Now, why did we have those sword cuts in the beginning? Well, because there might be a bigger trade somewhere on. I must have drew them here. There must have been some. Oh, there's a natural parabolic here. This is where price was cutting through from these tops. And so when we cut through, these were created. So these were created months and months ago, back in April of 2021 to August. You have cuts that were created in these areas. So if you guys want to, I'm not going to cover all of that. I am going to update the date just so you guys have that, and then you guys are aware of how some of these principles are working. I think just watching some of these dives, a lot of you guys are going to begin to open your eyes to a whole nother world that price is actually speaking to you in a type of language, a price action language. December 30th. Okay, so I'm going to leave these areas on the map. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this line out. A little secret you can do, you can always duplicate a line and just try to, well, not so much with logarithmic view, but you can just duplicate the line and move it on top. So now there is still some resistance here. This line was created, I believe, from the weekly chart. I'm going to double check that real quick. Yep. All right, on the weekly chart, there's lines you can draw on the wicks, connecting these wicks, but you can also draw at the bodies, which I call the core to core. This core to this core gives me this area. Let me delete this, just extend it out. The angle is a little bit higher. Okay, and this core is more stronger because it's on the weekly chart. So with that said, this price is actually cut more up here, and I'm going to draw it more correctly. So this time we're going to take another rectangle, and we're going to look at that body where the line crosses through. The line's going up at an angle, so we're going to draw it there and bring it out. All right. And let's raise this up. So this is the new updated lines. If we bounce here, I would be expecting us to get to 242. Hey Jae-sung, wanted to check the parabolics Mark drew on the bottom of the channel and how price reacted, if you can do. On ADA. Okay, sure. Did you want to send that to my email? And I'll take a look at it right now, if you drew it. This isn't the full class, but I don't mind taking a look every now and then at some of you guys' drawings, okay? Okay, yep, thank you, Dean. I'll take a look at his ADA. And after I look at, we're gonna go through CRO, and after we look at CRO, then we'll look at ADA, okay? ADA, and so that was a REEF. Who asked for a REEF? Who was it who asked for a REEF? Superfood, that was you, Superfood. Okay, friend. All right, and Yuri Reza wanted CRO, so we'll look at CRO now. He can fly, he can fight, he can. What movie is that from? I'll give you the line one more time. If you get that line right, you guys are movie experts. He can fly, he can fight, he can. What movie? If you guys know it, it's $5 in invisible money. Come. Would you be looking at VRA, veracity? Yeah, we can look at veracity. Hello, Roy. Welcome. VRA, no problem. We'll take a look. All right. All right, so CRO's, so REEF is looking good. That might be a good opportunity. It's not expensive. It's a good, and we should be getting some rounding off action. Okay, on the day though, through the Bitcoin manipulation, it really fell pretty far, but also recovered. During that time, to note, it was weak. So you may, even though this is healthy, due to that manipulation, REEF may not be the best. It might be more of a learning opportunity just right now because you're also battling against that type of manipulation. So keep that in mind, guys. I mean, look what happened that day. I mean, it's terrible. Terrible. The Bitcoin manipulation day, which is the USDT going up, went down. Now, you know, USDT.D has a lot more ground to cover. And even though we're in position, we may not go up right now. We may actually stay or bounce and build a bigger sword cut. So that's the only thing about REEF. If it wasn't due to that card on the table, you'd be looking for some bullish price action. So that's why we can't guarantee, because we are playing against some enemies. Okay, guys? So if you see a crypto and you see the day that there was manipulation, which is around December 6th to December 4th, December 4th, right? Okay. If you see the huge down move that day, that means it's more coupled towards Bitcoin, and it's more coupled, meaning has its cards together with the USDT.D. J.Song j.song7784 at gmail.com. Okay, tell me when you send it and I'll take a look. Now let's go through CRO. Nobody guessed the movie. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Two actors in the movie were Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams. Let's see if I've done CRO. He can. Yes, Mad got it. Mad. Hook. The movie's Hook. Hook. Actually, I kind of like that movie. And that's when he was learning how to be. He was learning how to be Peter Pan again. And he was like, he can fly. He can fight. He can. And he was about to say CRO, and Peter Pan interrupted him. He interrupted him. I liked that movie. I'm gonna delete some of these lines right here and see what we can see. This one right here goes back. $5. I am $5, and I said invisible dollars. I'll give you $5, right? And then you take 5 little bugs. I said bugs. It's my there's a lot of those. Or my brother used to say, I'll give you $5. I was like, $5? He said, no, 5 doll hairs, 5 doll hairs. And then he would take the doll and he would pull out 5 hairs. And There you go. Oh my gosh. All right. So this one's we're gonna look at some of the lines. All right. So some of the newer lines, we're gonna get rid of some of these ones. Ooh, look at this. Okay, some of the newer lines that we have on CRO is we have a new sword cut that was created here. Okay, this is where the cut is right now. Extend it out a little bit. And this is one. This is based on this core, and you could see the reactions here. And this is on the daily chart. You can see all the reactions here, 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 and then finally you break above. And now we're coming back organically. Where I think we're actually coming back down is here. There's a higher likelihood you're coming back down to here, which I'll give you that level. But there's still some more I have to examine because it could be higher. Let's, in keeping with that principle I just told you guys just right now, right? What did I teach you guys? I told you, check a look to see how well it responded to Bitcoin's crash. 51 cents is there's a sword cut at 51 cents. So go ahead and draw a trend line there, or your rectangle tool if you are. This one's a little bit interesting, and I'm going to draw and see something real quick. Yep, this is interesting. This is actually one of the first times I've really looked at it this way. Sometimes it's clear that it's a parabolic, and sometimes it's clear that it's straight. Because usually it's one or the other. Yep, Dean, that's right. j.song7784@gmail.com. Man, take it in XRP. And now this one almost looks like it's straight and parabolic. In those instances, you would have support naturally here at this level, which you did, and you kind of do. And I'm going to draw this really, really thin, but it's there. That's a thin sword cut here, and now we're underneath that. So that's interesting. There would be a cut right there. The other thing is that generally they're stronger when they're together, or there's an easier chance if price is really bearish, it means it's going down. It can push through at those times too for the price of one. But drawing both the parabolic on the wicks, because the wicks seem to be parabolic. This is very, this is the first time I really noticed this one. The wicks are parabolic, and then the cores are straight. So that's very interesting. Generally, that would give you a sword cut of about this wide if you were connecting those two, but you don't have to connect them both like I did. Let us continue this resistance here. It gives you the higher chance that if we continue weaknesses, we're going to be coming down to here, 51 cents. The other thing to note is, in keeping with that principle I just taught you guys a little bit, the day that Bitcoin had its crash is right here. So, I mean, look at this. I mean, we went down pretty far on that December 4th day, right? Okay. You went all the way down from 63 cents to 48 cents. It's huge, massive. Dot after, is it? Yeah, j.song7784, Dean. Yeah, j.song7784. So, knowing that USDT.D is going up, what I showed you guys all at the beginning of this video. Okay, when this chart goes up, and when it went up the first time, this is that December 4th, okay, when you had that big pump, okay, which we all knew, and you guys should know and should have gotten sideswiped because I gave you guys that for weeks and weeks before that. Okay, but when we went up, cryptos came down, and now I'm telling you guys we're going up again, so we could expect some cryptos to go down. So some of these setups that should be better are going to be a little bit delayed, some of them. So there may be some money to be made, but it might be better to use this time to learn, to watch, to observe. Don't just take every trade. Don't get into a gambling mindset. You want to let trades come to you. Okay? You don't want to just throw your money away. You want to let trades come to you. Okay, that's going to make you a better trade. You have the map, okay? You have some of these maps. The prices are telling you what are the most important things. And these are some of the most important lines. So we have a parabolic, and if you guys don't have it on CRO, draw it on CRO. And then you have your straight, which is, it's really interesting. So you got both of those, and between the two, you have a sword cut that's pretty thick. It's about this range. It's actually, and I'll draw it for you guys to really see it, but it's gonna be, I'm gonna really fade it away so you guys can just have it. But generally, from the length of the weight and to the core, where both of them cut, it almost looks like this. It's almost about that wide. So generally, we're looking for some kind of rounding option, and we don't know if it's going to be here at 55 or it's going to be at 51, but I think it's going to be around 51. Now, with that said, this straight still goes out. This one still goes out. So if you see price break down underneath that, and then you can go all the way down to this line again. So if you start going into free fall, remember this core line. It still exists. If price starts going into a free fall, you're like, oh, how far are we going to fall? You're going to fall to this level. That's how far you're going to fall as a safety net. Once you come on that level, you could bounce off of it, and then you can collect your head, get to, and you can think, hey, if we're just bouncing like this, generally in that direction, you're going down. If you see price rounding up like that, that's more healthy, okay, in my experience, okay? But just so you know, some of these type of things that can happen, okay? If you round up, you're gonna hit this level, and if you go get above that level, then you're good and cleared to the next sword cut, which is here again, at 81 cents, with a height of 89 cents. Okay. So we're looking for a few behavior changes. Here's the first behavior change. You can either be bearish here, or you can be bullish here. You can be bullish here, or you can be bearish here. This one's kind of easy because most of these are straight. You guys don't have to really draw so much. You just draw a few straight lines. It's not so hard. Anyone can draw these straight lines. Okay. This is the one that's the challenging line for you to draw, and also maybe the parabolic, but try to get that parabolic good. But this is the type of map you want to draw on your price action. So you know that if you're trading, if you round off here, you're going up to here to around 66 cents. Okay, it's actually 66. Okay, 0.66, and then if you get above that, you're going to 81, and so forth and so on CRO, which could be healthy, but we need to see this manipulation end, and then look at this map again. If the manipulation brings us underneath here, then we need a whole nother setup, and this setup right here is then invalid. So watch that manipulation. If the manipulation brings us underneath here and we don't recover in enough time, then you're not good. We need a whole nother trade setup, which could look like something from these highs over here and these highs, and you would connect those dots. We're not going to do that now, but it would look something like this. It would look like this, okay? And then at that time, then we would need behavior to go up. If you guys start seeing this happen again in the future, let me know. We can re-examine CRO. Okay, but this is me thinking a few moves in advance. This is the behavior. You got to swing here. You got to swing here. Those are levels to watch out for. In fact, you should even draw them now. But the reason it's not as important is because you have a nice parabolic, and it's just something to be aware of. You probably want to draw it. We'll draw it, but I would be looking for those major behavior changes. Okay. All right, and then with that said, I'm gonna look at we're gonna go through ADA, VRA, and we're gonna make sure that Dean's level is correct. Well, Dean, was it your level that you drew? What level is the free fall to? The free fall is to. It depends. If it happened today, this is a dynamic free fall. Okay. If it happens today, it's gonna be one level. Okay. If it happens in a few weeks, it's going to be much lower. So I'm not going to draw these straight lines because they're not really supports, but it's around 0.40 cents if it happened tomorrow, okay? For this one. That's your free fall. And then if it happened in the, just say by the 15th of the month, it's really low. It's like 31 cents. It's lower than 31 cents. I mean, it's low. So REEF can be dangerous trade underneath here because the angle is so steep. I mean, it's real steep. So it might be dangerous if you get below that. I would, if it was me, I'm sorry, not REEF, CRO. If it was me, I would wait for the trade to come to you. Get that nice round, get it on where the parabolic meets the sword cut. You're good to go. And then I guess you would want to see these two behaviors here. Yeah, we'll draw it since we did go down. I will draw that here. It may not be that important as important as this, okay? But it's there. Okay. Let me take a picture. It was Mark says we copied the parabolic from the top and placed it under the bottom. Okay. All right, Mark. So let me take a look at yours. Let me go to my email real quick. Are we almost at juice minute, guys? Alrighty. Don't see it. I don't see the email just yet. Dean, is it possible you can post it in the comment section of the chat? I might be able to just download it because I know other people do that, but I don't see it in my email just yet, and I wonder if I gave it to you wrong. It should be j.song7784. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, there's no j.song7784 at Gmail. It's j.song7784 at iCloud. And if there is a Gmail, then I may not have that anymore. At iCloud, yeah, iCloud. Sorry, guys. Sorry. And then I'll open it. Tell me when you send it, okay? In the meantime, I'll get started. Can we know how low the SHIB price is when USDT.D goes up? I will take a look. It's now going to be. The answer is just a little bit farther than the last time it fell, because that's about how far we have to go on USDT.D. So last time we went up, it was about this measurement. Okay, and I've done this a couple times so you guys can have it. It was about this measurement within those 2 days. Okay, that was about the length of the crash. We have from here to here, we have almost the same distance. This is so I would say that whatever happened to price on December 4th and December 3rd and 4th, whatever happened, however far price fell from those 2 days, whatever the current price is, look how price fell on that day and duplicate it out in here, and we'll look at it. So I'll tell you the current numbers, and we'll look at Shiba's falling far, okay? We'll look at Shiba's falling in after this, but we do have to look at ADA, and then we'll do that. And Jeff, I'll absolutely do that for you, okay? But where was ADA? ADA. All right, so ADA. ADA needs to be updated. This white line that we covered on December 20th, I'm not gonna extend line right. Oh, why is it out? This is not correct. Hold on. I don't like to extend my lines out. You guys can do that, but I won't. There we go. All right. So now we have on the weekly chart. Let me fade this line out real quick. Rough. There we go. On the weekly chart, from this top to this top, on the weekly chart. Okay, this is our main trend debate. I'm gonna hide all my drawings to minimize confusion. Okay. On the weekly chart, here and here. To connect those dots, draw them out. They are the angle of the course. Okay. So you need to beat this line. Okay, that's the first thing you need to beat for ADA. But remember, and Dean, tell me, did you send it to me, Dean? But one of the things I'm noticing on the daily chart is it looks like there's a type of parabolic that's forming. And in the parabolic on the daily chart, it's going to look something like this. When you see that type of parabolic curve, that means that price has a higher chance of breaking out to the positive. But remember, we still have to beat this line. So we would at most come up and challenge that line. And then we're looking for, and you're going to see this, and we're going to go over this in just a sec. But what we're really looking for is we're looking for a breakout behavior above this line, or rejection below the line. If you get the behavior above, then a new sword cut can be formed, but we do need to go up from that line. Okay, that would be bullish behavior. But let's take a look and see what Dean is showing us. Okay. And turn back all my lines. There's a few resistance areas that we're looking at. These resistance as well. I have quite a bit of lines on here, but I'm going to show you guys what's most important in just a moment. This one's just a little bit more complicated, but it's possible now, and I'm going to show, I think, I haven't looked at Dean's chart, but I think I know what he's going to show me. He's going to show me, possibly, oops. I'm almost sure what Dean's going to show me, and I'm going to see how good I am at predicting Dean. There's a few natural flows going on here. Number one, there's a little micro flow here, a parabolic, which gives us this area. But overall, there's a bigger parabolic that seems to be forming from this tops, because see how we're kind of cascading down a little bit? There might be a parabolic that's forming in this area, which means we would be looking for breakouts past this area. And usually when you see parabolics, price and breaks out of a parabolic, if the parabolic is really sharp, like say price is going down and the parabolic's really sharp, then usually price has a chance to recover very quickly in those type of instances. This is something you're just going to learn by watching the markets quite a bit. Okay, but let's take a look and see what if his angles are correct, or we see how well he did, or let's see if we can adjust them. I'm going to now turn off. I'm now going to go to that email and see what he sent. All right, let's see what he's got. Ah, he's got the under parabolics. Yeah. Oh, from the previous. I remember that. Woohoo! Fantastic. But what that's my drawing. What is your question, Dean? You want to unmute so I can pick your mind? Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay. All right. Wait, hold on. I think I know it. Okay, I'm going to look for the original drawing that I did. I remember drawing this for everyone. Did I actually put it on price, or did I only draw it? Okay. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I'm going to show you exactly what he's talking about. How do I save this image? Save image. All right. So it should be. It's not saving the image for me. That's weird. If I save. Oh, okay, I know how to do it. Save image, done. Photos. Why is it not showing up? You know, when in doubt, just take a screenshot of the screenshot. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you what he's talking about right now. Done, save to photos. All right, this is from a tutorial I did. Here it is. This is from a tutorial I did showing a principle. Hello, Francisco. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so here's what happened. In the tutorial I gave that day, this was that ADA? Okay, so on ADA we connected these tops right here and created the parabolic. What we did was we took this parabolic and we duplicated it down at 2 levels and 2 points. They were here at the core, the lowest body, without crossing over any of the other bodies in this segment, or the foundations generally, which is the beginning. Okay, so I moved this line straight down, not to the left, not to the right, and that's the secret. When creating a parabolic, and if you want to create the under channel of the parabolic, you have to take the same parabolic and move it straight down. Try not to change the angle. If you're drawing in logarithmic view, it's automatically going to change the angle. So that's the downside. It's a glitch with trading view, but you can do your best to try to make the angle more or less the same. You're going to have still an edge. Okay, we took this angle and we duplicated it, which is brought it straight down on these points, which is we brought the level and we hit it to the bodies, which is this is the lowest body, and we also hit it to the wicks, and this was the lowest wick. So if we brought it up and hit price, we hit the wick here and we hit the body here. So then we stop. After you do that, this line is level, and you knew when price came down to this level, it should act like a support. Anytime it comes to that level, it should generally act like a support. If it breaks below that level, okay, like we broke below, and you come up, especially if you come up with this nice rounding action, you're going down. Okay, here, price broke down and we were coming up, and this is what I gave everybody. I said around 156, we should be able to get back up and reject off of 156. That's where we should be going. So this is what I gave on that tutorial for that day. Did that happen? Okay. Yep, that sure did happen. Around there, that's right. Let me see if we can do a live example of how that works. I'm going to show you guys. This was that parabolic. I haven't deleted it, I just faded it away. Here it is. Here's that parabolic. Oops, now I deleted it. Okay, there it is. So if we were taking that parabolic, okay, and this time we're gonna draw. So I want you to pay attention to this yellow line. And this time we're gonna draw it kind of like with the pencil. And just extend it out, okay? It's gonna be a little bit lower. Good. So that's just say that's more or less correct. Now, what you're gonna do is you can take that line, oops, take your lasso tool right here at the bottom. Okay, we're gonna take that yellow line and we can duplicate it. Then we're gonna bring it up straight along the line. Let's make it even easier for everybody. Let's make some guides with our ruler, okay? So say I'm just gonna make like red, right? Really thick red guides. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna move them here. All right. So just say that's our guides, right? Now we're gonna take that same angle, which we got everything, duplicate it, and we're just gonna bring it straight down. Okay, and then we're gonna push it up, and we're gonna first hit the wicks. Boom. There's the wick. Oh, glitch. Glitch. Don't you love glitches? We're gonna bring it up till it hits the body. This is where it hit the body. Do you see how it hit the wick? I'm sorry, it hit the wick. That's the first one. The second one we're gonna do, and these are secrets, guys. These are secrets. Don't tell anybody. you're gonna take this one, right, and you're gonna bring it up to the bodies without hitting the other bodies. And all I'm doing is there's that glitch again. Okay, there it is. Now all we did was we brought it up to the body here, because that's the lowest body, without hitting the other bodies in this section, especially the foundation. That's the most important. And then the lowest wicks. So really all I'm paying attention to is just this part. Again, once you have the natural parabolic, everything you needed to know was just in this small section of how it all started. So when you see a big leg up, look at how it all started. That's where most of the secret information is. That's where all the buyers and sellers started their cycles of exiting, entering, buying more, greed, fear, all the emotions that the traders feel that move markets. Now, again, here's in slow motion. Now that you have this parabolic here, you're able to see where the supports are. And then you're also able to see when there's a change of behavior. And when we had the change of behavior, where did we fall? We fell to here and we went all the way back up, right? So we went all the way down here, went all the way back up here. Then we came down and broke below. And this line is now the resistance. But we went up for just a day, and it also happened to be the sword cut. So this was enough to get some extra energy. And even then, we hit the next level, that previous old level, which you guys have. So now we came down, and if we come down, the next resistance is what? That parabolic. What happened? Price went up there. I told everybody, hey, you're still going to hit this area. We went, I mean, that's pretty exact, guys. That's pretty exact. I mean, that's pretty darn exact. Okay, and you bounced on the sword cut. So these principles, guys, these principles, they work. They work for you. They work in cryptos. They work in stock markets. They work in most markets. Okay, so I want you guys to learn some of these things, guys. This is awesome. But yeah, ADA. Thank you for sharing that and reminding us with ADA. And if you guys were expecting that resistance at that level, that's why I put it in yellow. That's why I put it in yellow here, because it was a parabolic. If you were experiencing that rejection, you should have made some money. And generally, where should you be trading? To the next sword cut, which is down here. Okay? So everybody has these cuts. Everybody has these levels. I'm still not bullish, but if you were looking for an area to short, I mean, that's where you can. To have bullish behavior, we still need movement above the white line, which is from the weekly chart. Okay, remember to draw it on the weekly chart. You need movement above the white line, and we need movement above this upper sword cut, which is up here at $1.68. Okay, so you need that movement above 168. I want price to build a structure. You also have this core that I drew in white, this big thick white line right here. You need behavior above that one. And the reason you need it above this one, and I'm just going to draw this solid for right now so you guys can see how important it is because this is the wick and this is the wick. Again, this is the wick and this is the wick right there. Connect those wicks and you have everything. Now, again, just for people who are really, really, really new, back to the original example, this is the same chart. This is yours a little more simplified. Edit, markup on the iPad app, markup. We're connecting these wicks, which is these top levels right there and here. You connect those as best you can. Okay, good. And then you draw the resistance level. So we need that behavior, and that's your basically your last behavior that you need before you going up. You beat that level, you're gonna have a lot of more chance that you're gonna become bullish. Until then, we still need breakouts from these levels before we can get. Now, where are those? And I shouldn't say levels because they're not level, they're angled. They're dynamic. But where are they right now? If price were to hit them right now, it is around there. And if price hits it before the in February, say it hits it February 1st. It's about right here. So let's take a look. It's around 185. So I want to say 190 and 175 before February for ADA. So pay attention to that angle. You're going to be more successful. Hello, ID. Welcome. Who's ID? Says hello, everyone. Oh, that's Francisco. Ah, okay. Good. All right. Any other questions about ADA before we move on to the last two? I'm sorry, the last two, which are VRA, and we're going to look at SHIB and how far it can fall. I will be fading some of these lines away but right now I'm not going to. I'm just going to fade away this one. I wanted to make sure I drew that parabolic for everyone to have. I'm not going to draw this parabolic right now. It's a little funky. I don't like that shape, so it's not really correct. I won't draw it. I'll just leave everything straight. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing that. VRA, VRA. I don't think I've done a VRA before. VRA on Bittrex. All right. Oh, this is kind of fun. You are gonna have a sword cut here. This will not be so much of a tutorial, but you are gonna have sword cut here. Okay, that's one. We're gonna get some. Oh, you're gonna have some fun here today. I'm gonna turn on the weekly chart for Vera. One second. And since we are on juice minute. Okay, I'm gonna get my juice. You guys can make sure you get some juice to drink. My juice today is my protein drink, which it's a new protein drink that I have here. I don't know how I'm gonna put all this on the plane. It's gonna be a little challenging. But I got this key lime pie protein drink. Okay, give me just a few moments. We need to have like background music while I'm doing this. Yes, sir. Mark, right? Yeah. When do I decide, or how do I decide? I'm actually not. What I'm actually doing is, it seems like I'm doing channels, but to be honest, I'm just performing Sword 2.0 on this chart. A little bit of Sword 2.0. We do a lot of. You're going to see a lot of this type of channels created in Sword 2.0, and basically what I found, or what I've been doing, is it's a little bit more advanced, but in a lot of ways it's a lot more simpler. In Sword Point 2.0, I'm staying away from really drawing channels to actually drawing what's more important. And what I found is that really, I don't know, the proper word for this is basically everything is a channel. That's not the right terminology for it, but the truth is that everything has a type of reverberation based on the major trends. And so this is why I'm transitioning a lot of my maps into Sword 2.0, which are not really channels at all, but I mean, they're all channels, but they're not really channels that you would think per se. Some of the stuff that's more important goes away, and some of the stuff that's important will still stay. But what I've been using it to allow me to see some of the more important lines and angles. So, for example, just in a quick example, what started all of this up movement right here? What was it? What was the supports that were built? What was the structure that was built that caused this? And can it be verified? Can it be measured? And absolutely, the answer is yes. And so, like, if I was just showing you like a little preview, okay. If I was to, and every now and then I'll do a preview of Sword 2.0, but this is a lot going to be more released in the future. But what I'm doing is I'm finding the angle at which price broke. Okay, and it was this angle. This is the angle that caused all of that. Okay, this was the structure that caused this up channel. Well, that channel and that angle is really most of what you need to know where some of the biggest reversals are going to happen in the future. That same angle. I'm not changing the angle. I'm not doing all this. I'm not creating all these extra channels like in Sword 1.0. I'm actually just using the same angle, and I'm using this at cores, and I'm using it at wicks. So if I were to draw it like at this core, I draw it here, and if I was drawing at this wick, I'm drawing it here. This is where it gives you those changes of behavior. You'll see price come up all the way to this angle, and this is verified in hindsight, of course, but you can see that this is the angle, and it should give you verification. We got verification here, we got a verification here, we came up, came back down, tried to get below this. To me, that's a good enough verification. And then you go up and you have this same angle and you're verified here. So I got already 4 points that were verified. This angle brought up to the wick here gives you this resistance. People don't have these resistance. And this is a beauty. You guys are gonna love this. We're gonna do a lot of this kind of stuff in the future. I mean, you guys are gonna love it. It's fantastic. Because you guys are, I mean, the secrets of understanding price action is released to you guys. I mean, fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. The other things, you can even see the micro reverberations. Okay, look at that. Look at this. Look at this. It's pretty awesome stuff, and I'm having such a blast with that. It's still in development, but I use some of these in the maps that we can. And I'm gonna be teaching all of this. You guys are gonna be learning this, especially if you sign up for the Sword Method course. But this is kind of the major delay that's happening, is because this is a little bit more advanced. But when I move into this, you don't need all of the Sword 1.0 principles. So I have my whole list of all the principles that I use in my iPad, which I don't show you guys on this. And so some of those go away, and some of those. So that's where I'm developing. I'm actually teaching myself here. I'm just here for 2.0, says Augie. I'm teaching you guys some of the principles, and I'm teaching myself where the transition is. After I'm done with the transition teaching myself, then you're going to see more of this stuff going for you guys, okay? Because you get into like you can get into like micro stuff that you don't really need. And that's where I'm trying to kind of steer away from. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for everybody, but first I got to make it simple for me. All right, now going back to a VRA on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, there's some cuts that are going to be here. Let's draw them out. Core, these two cores, okay? Core, and this is where the cliff falls off. You had the break here, we came here, so that means there's another cut here. It's a little bit minor, so we're gonna fade that away a little bit, but it's about right there. Okay, I'm gonna fade this away. Oops, don't need the border. How do you take away the border? Huh. All right, so there's a cut there, and then there's going to be a cut here as well for VRA. Alrighty. These are some of the more major cuts on the weekly chart. With this said, let's move now into the daily chart. So if you are drawing these cuts on the weekly chart, these are some of the more minor cuts here, and make sure this is too faded away. I'll bring it up a little bit. Okay. This is a foundational cut. It's not going to be as strong, this little one here, and this one will be more stronger. To be a little bit lower. Now, one of the things I'm going to do now is go to the daily chart, and we're going to look to see patterns and flows. Okay, so on here on the daily chart, there's this parabolic. This is kind of a parabolic from here. So this is the same area as this sword cut here. So let's give that a price label. So if price goes into a free fall, it's kind of safe because you have some free fall, a lot of free fall nets here. One of the next ones is here at 0.016. You got a resistance here at 0.062. This is interesting. If you guys were looking at this like from a micro standpoint, you could see something like the parabolic, the natural parabolic of this. See that? As you see price kind of cascading and curving and arcing like this. Then you see when we went underneath, we had this big wide swing underneath the parabolic. Again, we went underneath, came up, had this big wide swing, and we've been going down ever since. A sword cut was created here, and that also is contributing. Now we came back up. We spiked it once, but we have this nice arcing action as we come. This is more bullish. Generally, I still want to see more solid action, not just a spike against there before we're going down. So on the daily chart, I would be looking at that. Let's take a look at how it performed on the Bitcoin crash, and it was affected and didn't recover so quickly. But before then, you did have weakness in the background. You were hovering underneath the sword cut rather than bouncing on top of the parabolic. I mean, it was bearish going in, and then it created a sword cut. But it was just bearish going in. So we were already going down, and then you went down, and then it just went back up in a few more days, but still came back down. So it's not as affected as if it's a thing, but it can be enough. Now we went down about that much. So if there's a flash crash tonight, you could see it going down to around what, 22 cents. Right now, I would I would now measure this whole section to see when you're gonna have bullishness again for VRA. Okay, and that's what I'm gonna measure. So the first thing I'm gonna measure is these cores. You want to beat this line here, and then let's measure the wicks. The major wicks you need to be paying attention to, there are three. There's this one. So there's this section here, this wick to this section to this section. Those are your major resistances. Okay, so if you're looking on the daily chart, those shouldn't be too hard to draw. This big spike as we went down, this big spike, then we went down, and then we came back up for one big spike. So those two, that one and that one, you need to see that behavior change before VRA is going to get bullish again. At the moment, it's more likely that you're going to be going down. Okay, this is not the most healthy structure to go up. Yep, you're bullish. Okay. I mean, no, bearish. I wouldn't be touching VRA right now. Who asked for VRA? If you're still in here, let's give you your choice of colors, because I haven't done VRA yet. You can choose a border color. You can choose 2 or 3 colors, and a border and a text. VRA. I'll give the 1%. Right, VRA, and this is going to be December 30th, right? 2021. www.patreon.com/jsong _7. How about these colors for VRA? Who asked for VRA? Nobody's fessing up. Okay, and then last thing we're going to do is we're going to look at SHIB falling. Feels like water falling, like the waves crashing around. All right, so how far can SHIB fall is the question. So here's the distance that SHIB fell last time during the first flash crash, based on the measurement I gave you guys at the beginning of, or at the middle of the class, when we were measuring how far USDT has yet to go. Did I take a picture of, sorry guys, did I take a picture of VRA? I didn't even add it to my favorites. Thank you. Was that you, Roy? Oh, Roy, that was you. Okay, Roy, did you want to, what colors did you want? You didn't tell me what colors you wanted, Roy. And I didn't take my photos for this, for VRA. Is this green okay? You can choose any 2 colors if you want me to change them to, okay? And if you want, once they're changed, I won't change them. Well, they stay the same. I won't change those colors unless I lose all the data. Green is good. Okay. All right. Back to SHIB. Oh, I need to add this to USD on Bittrex. Okay, so if you wanted to add one to your own watch list, click on your watch list here. Okay, and then go up to the top where it says add, and then you're going to type in whatever crypto you were just using, VRA USD, and then the exchange off to the side. In this one, in case we're using Bittrex. And now it's going to show up in your watch list here on your watch list. A way you can quick access it is you can hold it down, and then in the middle you can just play the Wheel of Fortune. If you're really ambitious and you like trading and you like gambling, right? You can just open the wheel, right? And then just kind of hold your thumb up and move your thumb up and just spike the wheel, and wherever it lands, you buy it. We're gonna buy USDT. Just kidding. Don't do that. That's terrible. Actually, go ahead, because I tell you guys to eat red crayons, and everything is not financial investment or trading advice of any kind. It's just meant for investment, educational entertainment and whatever. You know my spill, guys. You know my spill. After I start drinking the juice, I forget a little bit. Let's go back to Shiba. See all you guys' comments in the section. Don't be saying that stuff, guys. That's the 3.0 method. Says Francisco. All right, guys. So Shiba's that same thing, guys. And this is that I want you to be aware of. The manipulation is real. I mean, it's real, but it's measurable. I mean, Shiba has a great breakout, and we were sitting on top of sword cut. We should have gone up, and I showed you guys this yesterday, but now we pushed below sword cut, and now we're rounding underneath. It's more pronounced on a 4-hour chart. You could see the structure more clearly. Like if I pulled up a 4-hour chart on Shiba, it should look a little bit more clear. See, we should have bounced here, but the manipulation is that we're going up on USDT, and we have more to go. We went down, which is it's following that, and now we're building a case underneath the sword cut, which means we're going down even further. So I wouldn't be surprised if Shiba goes down in the next near future. But overall, I'm still long. I'm still long on Shiba. There's a higher chance you're getting into this pocket range, which is around 0.000004028 cents. So around there in this pocket is a high chance, somewhere around there. Okay, let me make this really big so everyone can see it. This is what I've been telling everybody for a few days on Shiba. Bring to front. But yeah, guys, it's a high chance you're going to get in this pocket, and that's really due to that manipulation. But going back to the 2 days that we fell, which is here, let's go back to the daily chart. Here it is. We fell pretty far on Shiba. We fell from 40 all the way down to 29. That's almost 11 cents that you guys had to drop. And between the 2 days, you went all the way from 45 to 41. So now, if you were to take this measurement, okay, from these 2 days, okay, about that, that's the length of that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take that one, and you can either duplicate it by lassoing it with your lasso tool, and we can click on duplicate, and you can bring it out to current price. If we brought it out to current price with the amount of distance it has to cover, you can get all the way down to a low Shiba. That's what it is. That's what it is, a low Shiba. Now, is this a selling signal? I don't know. If it goes down in slow motion, it won't go as far. I can tell you that, if it goes down in slow motion. But if you see a flash crash, I wouldn't be surprised if Shiba gets down to 230 or 0.00023. So that's kind of far, and let's make a text. 0.00023. Okay, so that's about the distance you could fall with Shiba, and it's not fun, guys. It's not fun. I hate manipulation just like you guys do. You can have the best analysis in the world, but if you find analysis on your actual manipulation, which is good, at least we can measure that. We can measure the manipulation. That can give you guys an edge. You may be able to pick up some sweet, cheap Shiba. But the other thing to remember, guys, is when we went down, we spiked and came right back up. And Prophet Robin said there'd be a quick recovery during some of the flash crashes, or the flash crash should have a quick recovery. So if we flash crash down to 23 right now, let me draw it, then you could recover as well. So you may not be able to get that price as like a normal price, but just putting it out there, guys. I'm gonna put this as just like a yellow, thick and dotted, so everyone knows that this is just a projection based on some type of analysis we did. Okay. Do I have any other questions for today before we close the analysis for today? I'll stick around for a few minutes after class, but I want to thank everybody for who is style. border yellow. I want to thank everybody who's learning these maps, and you guys are learning how to draw your own maps and create your own maps, learning how prices. Jeff says, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to say a prayer for everybody, and I want you guys to have a great day. If you guys want to stick around for class, we'll have a chat for about 15 minutes or so. But let's end class. Lord, we thank you for today. And I thank you, Lord, for all the favor and the blessings that you've given me. Lord, I thank you for helping get us through the dark times and through the challenges. And I pray that you would have so much good things in store for these wonderful people. All the Patreons, Lord, who are on Patreon, who are supporting me and Melody. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lord, for prompting their hearts to support with their own wealth and with their own blessings and with their own resources. Lord, you prompted their hearts to sow seeds into our lives, and that's something we're humble for. I'm also thankful, Lord, for all the newborn children that these patrons are having. I thank you for the new lives that you're breathing into the earth, and I pray that you give them destinies. And I also pray for the children of our people in Patreon, and that you would just protect their children as well, Lord, because there's so much evil and so much indoctrination that they're being taught in these days. They're being taught in the schools to hate their own country. They're being taught racism. They're being taught segregation. They're being taught to feel guilty for how you created them. And I just rebuke these evil things in the world, Lord. In Jesus' name, we rebuke and we stand against, and we fight with our prayers. We fight for our freedom. We fight for our nation. We fight for the people, God, because through our prayers, we are strong. Through our spiritual authority that we take over the kingdom of darkness, that its power is diminished, its power is destroyed. In Jesus' name, you said in the Bible that you confer upon us a kingdom, and you gave us the keys of the kingdom. So, Lord, and you also told us, Lord, that whatever we bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever we loose forth on earth will be loosed forth in heaven. Lord, we loose forth the freedom. We loose forth the victory. We loose forth the victory over our enemies, over those who try to plunder us, over those who are trying to steal the freedoms away from the world, from us on the planet as people, as humans with our rights. Lord, I pray that you would put an end to this madness and these senseless things that make no sense, but these communist movements, Lord, that are destroying and infiltrating, and they're very openly in public. I pray that you would just put an end to these things. This is my prayer for our nations, for the nations of the world, for the people who are in these crazy lockdowns, for people who cannot even go outside. I pray that you would give us some more time and awaken the church and awaken your people and awaken us, Lord, to not give up and to not also give up our faith and not give up our hope, no matter how dark or how evil the days get. I also believe, Lord, that as you said through many of your prophets, there will be a day of great rejoicing over these things, and I look forward to celebrating with these wonderful people. Lord, thank you, Lord. Position them financially, position them and bless them, and heal their marriages, heal their relationships with their children, heal their families, heal their minds from all the trauma. Heal us, Lord. Heal our land. You said, call to me, and I'll show you great and mighty things which you know not. And you also said to call to you, and you will hear from heaven, and you will come and heal our land. Lord, heal our land, heal our hearts. Thank you, Lord. This is my prayer for them in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. So thank everyone. If you guys are watching today on YouTube, I'll share. Because this is all dive day, I'm probably just going to put this on YouTube like I did yesterday. These are not always going to be on YouTube, guys, but I do thank you, Francisco. Thank you. But I want to say that to you guys, I'm so glad you guys are participating in dives. There are going to be dives next month if you guys are good. If you guys like these kind of dives are $18 a month. You get dives Monday through Friday in the morning. Tomorrow is Friday. There are 2 dives tomorrow. There's going to dive at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and there's some dive in the PM, which is the same time that this one began, which is 9 p.m. And it's all GMT -3, which is 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. New York Standard Time. So we're trying to balance out people. And then again, there's a dive on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. That's the one day that's 10 a.m. It's an hour later. And so that's going to be invited for you guys. And as we're getting to the end of this month, I have opened the dive for just all Patreon. So if you guys haven't been watching, and if you guys are your first time participating in the dive, thank you for group chatting. Thank you for chatting. I'll end the video if you guys want to stick around for a few minutes or ask some other questions. You guys can, and I'll cue the outro music. I'll be right back.